We want to have a positive impact. How do we have the biggest positive impact? Because that's our mission. And it's by being a high performing team. And so this is something that kind of made it into our vernacular jargon. The way that we talk about ourselves is that we are a high performing team. We're not a family, which can be painful. So how can we best be a high performing team? And the question is, where do you perform the best? That's what we want. And so when we built our office, we designed it in such a way that we wanted it to be the most productive place somebody could work. And so that means that there's areas where you're uninterrupted, because the nature of knowledge work is that you need long periods of time that you're not interrupted, that you can think deeply about problems, and you don't want, people tapping you on the shoulder and interrupting you. And so building our office around that. So that's what we did, is we built the office in such a way that it could be this kind of safe haven of productive work. And it was totally optional. So if it wasn't the most productive, if you could be more productive working somewhere else, like there's sometimes I really like working in a Starbucks. I just like the energy of people being around me. Now, not necessarily talking to me, but they're around me. And then I've got music on my AirPods and I'm coding. Like I love that. I can be very productive in that environment. So if there's another place that you're more productive, work there. That was always our philosophy. But we still had a good number of people that they chose the office. This office was the most productive place for them to work. So then when the pandemic hit, now everyone was remote. So that wasn't even, there was no option to even be here in the office. So I think it's something that we have always appreciated, we've always wanted, and we're still learning. I think we are a high-performing team. How are we going to build a healthy culture, right? How are we going to get to know one another? So when we hired our first employee, who we only met in person after 6 months, they worked for the company for 6 months before we met them in person. How do you have a healthy culture in that? And I think that's something that we're still navigating. And I think more and more businesses, I think, are going to do that. What is the future of leadership, and what does the future of the working relationship look like so for us, for example, we're so focused on being a high performing team. Well, all of our interactions are about performance. All of our interactions are about how do I get the things done that need to get done? Well, what'd you do over the weekend? Or what are the things that you enjoy? And so you could say, oh, those are a distraction. Those aren't going to help you perform. But really they do. How do you incorporate that? How do we get some of those other interactions? Because I think we've got to figure that out. You're spending too many hours of your day. It doesn't mean that we have to be best friends. It doesn't mean that we have to be family, but there has to be some interactions that are not, I need to do this. Can you help me with that? Those kind of transactional performance related activities.